Okay, seriously, what is going on in Helldivers 2 right now? If we have a look at the map, right, and this is nuts. Kent is at 50% liberated. We've defended it, I think, like twice, or at least attempted to defend it twice. Vernon Wells is back under attack, even though we literally just defended it. And now we've got a whole new sector over here. Marta Bay got taken, and now Marteo and Marfark are getting attacked. What's going on? The Automatons are going a bit nuts at the moment, and it's very clear that we're not going to succeed in our major order. I thought we would have succeeded in this one, but honestly, looking at everything, no. Not even close. I've been fighting on this planet for a little while, and now I've been closed off that because Kent got taken. So it's quite clear that the devs are hard pushing us with the Automatons. They're wanting to gain some actual ground with them. Obviously, like we said previously, this was a vanguard over here. This is their main force. So they're obviously just taking territory to set up the rest of the war, which is fine by me. It sets a narrative, you know, we can fight on different planets. I'm keen to fight on some new ones, you know. But I do find it funny that this invasion force came in and they've just swept past us. Like, we've defended 2 planets already out of 5, but we've got 24 hours left in the major order. Probably not going to complete it. So I find that very interesting. And just to preface, this video is going to be a bit more casual. We're going to just jump into a mission here and just sort of talk about what's going on with the Automatons at the moment and just the game in general, because it is pretty wild what's happened in the last few days. My goodness, this guy's level 73. Dude, I thought I used to be high level, and now since they've raised the level cap, I'm seeing people surpass me drastically. It's crazy. Alright, here we go. New planet, new enemies. Oh my god, not really, but Jesus Christ. Alright, so what the hell's going on with the Automatons right now? Well, I'm getting crushed is what's happening with the Automatons right now. Well, obviously they're just trying to gain some ground. This is obviously their main force. This is what they were all along. What we were facing in previous, months and weeks was nothing in comparison. So what the game masters at Helldivers are doing, and what the devs are planning out, is to set up the ongoing war that is going, and what we can expect in the future. They're just setting up the Automaton front. This is the actual front now, which is why I think this major order is so hard. It's setting a narrative. It's giving us drive to fight the Automatons, giving us drive to, do all these missions, fight back against the Automatons. Because for a long time, the main focus was on the bugs, because people just preferred to do bugs, which is fair enough. Bugs are fun, you get in, explode some bugs, do whatever, right? And for the longest time, people were being like, oh, just fight the Automatons, we're fighting tooth and nail on, Malevolent Creek, which people were, and then some people were doing that a bit too often, and the community has called those people creekers. But I do find it interesting that now it's almost like our attention has divided, and we've now fully focused on the Automatons, because the devs have set up a narrative and set up a scenario where there's almost like a community hatred for the Automatons, because they came in with an invasion fleet, are sweeping through planets like crazy. They're obviously a tough enemy. A lot of people are also higher level now and have, a lot of the gear that you're meant to unlock. So it's getting a little easier to fight the robots, I think, for a lot of people. So maybe that's also another reason for why the shift is happening towards the Automaton front for a lot of people. But it is sort of just that narrative setup where, they've come in with an invasion force. We want to fight them back. We want to take those planets back, because they are taking a lot of ground. I am interested to see what happens in the coming weeks, though, like whether they do set up a third faction, if they start, doing what they've done recently with the flying bugs, with the factory striders, sort of just leaking stuff into the game, giving us clues. We had something on Twitter recently where it was binary code. Apparently the Helldivers sort of communication system got hacked, and it put binary up that said, "Where is Carl?" which I think is a reference to Deep Rock Galactic, which is pretty funny. But it's stuff like that that's setting up a narrative that I think makes this game succeed and brings people in wanting to actually contribute to that. It's not just the war, it's everything that's happening on social media, it's all the news reports like that you get on your ship that are just seamlessly showing you the narrative without shoving it in your face. It's very organic how they've set up the narrative for this game. It's there if you want to pay attention to it, but if you just want to come in and shoot stuff, you can absolutely do that, which I think is fantastic. It's a game for a lot of people. It's set up that way where a lot of people can jump in, play what they want, do what they want, play it how they want to play it, and just not have to worry about the story if they don't want to, but they can also deep dive into that lore like some of us have. I love what's going on with the narrative right now, the leaks and the news reports and everything else. I think it's just really cool. I think it's exactly how you should do a live service game, is to have this kind of thing authentically going at all times, because it also gives your community a united front to, play games together, which is obviously the end goal. That's what the devs want. They want you to play this game and they want you to be friendly. And that's why there's, never going to be any PvP. That's why they are very against toxicity. And they have just such a great sense of humor that it almost like nullifies any sort of toxicity that's in this game. Obviously, it does exist. It exists in everything. But I don't see it like I see it in other games. Like, this is honestly really special. And the community is even more special than that, because I just think you can go up to someone in public. I wouldn't recommend it though, but I've heard stories and I've seen people do it where they will genuinely walk up to you and salute and be like, "For Super Earth," or something like that. It's just crazy. It's like people you wouldn't even think to do that. It's just such a cool thing. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend just going up to strangers and saluting them and saying "For Super Earth," because you might get some strange looks. But I'm just saying, I've heard those stories, and I think that's just a credit to the narrative that the devs have set up here, and what's going on with the Automatons, especially right now, I think is just creating conversation about the game. Everyone's getting hyped, being like, "Oh my god, we're actually getting beat here." Like, players obviously love to win, but I think players also, even if they don't admit it at times, actually like to lose and feel like they're actually having to put in the effort to win. They want to earn victory, which I think the devs are doing a very good job of balancing between victories and defeats for us. We've had a few defeats, we failed a few major orders, we lost a few planets, and I think right now we're suffering one of the biggest sort of setbacks we've had since the game has released, which is good because, we're reaching that mark where there could be a dip in the player base. I'm not actually seeing a dip, to be fair. When I look at the player counts on Steam charts and everywhere else in game, like, I'm not seeing a huge dip, which is crazy to me. And I think it's so cool that there isn't that much of a dip like other games where they, you kind of just don't hear about it. But there's just this constant conversation with this game where you want to hear stories about it. You want to hear people's experiences and what they think about what's going on with the Automatons, what's going on with the Terminids, who are the Illuminate, who is Carl, like all this kind of stuff. It just creates such a good conversation on social media, in real life conversations with people that you might have that play this game with you. You just want to talk about it, because the game is also set up in a way where the player can set up their own stories and tell their own stories, and it's a weird thing to have such an action-packed game like this, where it's a third-person shooter, there's a lot of action going on, but there's just this weird amount of organic story from the players and from the devs that sort of builds the hype for the game, I think. And creating videos for this game has honestly been a lot of fun. Like, I've thoroughly enjoyed making content on this game. Not because, it's doing well on my channel, which I thank you guys so much for. Like, the support we've had the last couple months since I've started making Helldivers stuff is honestly really mind-blowing to me. And I cannot be more grateful, but, that's not the reason. The reason is because I genuinely love this game and I love talking about it. I love telling stories in it. I love creating theories. I love throwing ideas out there and having conversations with you guys about what's going on in the game. The comments that I get sometimes of just like things I've never heard of or ideas that are just really cool, and I'm like, man, I wish every game could be like this sometimes, because like, it's just so cool to have a community that gels so well together and that wants to talk about the game, that's so into it, and there's a lot of passion there. So many people want to help improve the game, so many people want to help people in the game that are new to it, or even the experienced players like myself, which, I'll be honest, I don't know everything. In fact, I probably know half as much as most people, but like, seeing comments on my videos, on other people's videos, on messages on the Discord, it feels nice. It's like, it almost feels like a home, which is why I wanted to make a video like this, because I don't think I've created a video where it's just very relaxed, laid back. Like, a lot of my videos are very either heavily edited or just informational dumps. So I just kind of wanted to take a minute to relax, play the game, have a chat, talk about what's currently going on in the game, because like I've said, it's one of the coolest things that's happened in the game so far. It's one of the coolest things I've seen in gaming in a long time. And I think the devs should be very proud of what they've done here, because honestly, they've created a game that will last a long time. And even when that player base starts to dip, when people start getting, not sick of the game, but just want to move on to something else, or just feel like they've had enough, they've had their fun, time to move on. I think people will keep talking about this game even when they've stopped playing it, because you'll talk about the memories, you'll talk about the missions that you faced, you will talk about, all the stories and how crazy everything was when stuff was getting leaked, what the devs were doing. Just the whole craziness of the game, I think, is just something to be bewildered by, but also absolutely amazed by. Because it is quite strange to have a game like this succeed in a way that it has, because I don't think for a lot of people it was on their radar when it came to games that were releasing this year. It definitely wasn't on mine. I remember seeing it at the Game Awards and thinking, oh, that's kind of cool, but I probably won't pick it up. And then I started hearing people talk about the game. I started seeing gameplay of it. I started seeing crazy clips of people exploding, flying in the air, getting friendly fired, but it was kind of funny and fun at the same time. Like, it's a game that pulls you in, and it's a game that has serious FOMO for a lot of people where, you know, they'll be at work and they want to play the game. They'll be, you know, maybe they don't have it yet, but a lot of their friends do, and they're hearing the stories and they're going, oh man, I wish I could do that. I want to come in and join in. And then they'll pick up the game, you know, sometime after and then make their own stories and be like, yo, this is really cool. Let me tell you about this mission that I had where everyone exploded, but we got out just in the last second. Like, you know, that kind of thing. Even though each mission can start to feel samey when you've played for so many hours, because of how each mission is procedurally generated and you're playing with sometimes, you know, different people each mission, you get to have a different experience each time. And when the devs are so into their game and they show a lot of passion for it and they're adding so many new things to it, it's very hard to put down the game, and it's just a fun time for everyone. So I think everyone is thoroughly enjoying Helldivers 2 like I am. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of Helldivers 2 so far. Tell me a few stories of a mission that you've been on which something crazy happened, or maybe a theory that you have for something that's upcoming like the Illumina or the Cyborgs or anything like that. Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for allowing me to have this conversation with you guys. Subscribe for more Helldivers 2 content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.